I never had a strict roadmap for my race. After years of frustration that I did not have full control over the direction of my life, I got some great advice to pretend to be a leaf floating down a river, going with the flow. Looking back now, there are many things along the course that I would have never predicted, but mostly good. There have been so many surprises with parent caretaking, and I never dreamed of having my own business, but my hobby turned into one. After leaving the Baptist church, I never thought I would return, since I never imagined a place like College Park. And while my mom always said that church is the best place to meet the love of my life, I didn't believe her. But she was right, and nowhere on my roadmap was the marriage option, since for most of my life, I had no idea that I would ever be able to marry the man of my dreams, but I did.
If someone had told me years ago that today I would be teaching yoga and running a yoga studio, my first reaction would have probably been one of tears from laughter. I have a business degree from ECU. Fast forward ahead, thanking a bad back and Mr. Terry Brown, yoga has been and continues to be quite the journey. Something I would never have considered has become such an important and rewarding part of my life. Namaste, my friends.
Never in a million years could you have convinced me as a young, upper-middle-class white girl from a small town in North Carolina that I would grow up to spend a pretty significant amount of my time hanging out with people who've been on death row. My dad was a car dealer, and my mom was a music teacher. I mean, what gives? The people I now work with have been determined to be so heinous and such failures as human beings that they are deserving of extermination. My training as a sociologist and researcher failed miserably in preparing me for the challenges that come with interacting with people who have been so thoroughly and completely dehumanized and rejected. Thankfully, my beliefs as a Christian and follower of Jesus provided better preparation, as it was He who taught us to go to those who have been expelled from community, to go to the least of these, and to bring them hope.
I never thought I would be a parent. I thought I didn't want to have kids because I figured that a child would take up all of my time and all of my money, which of course Patrick does. But as it turns out, he is the best thing that ever happened to me and exactly what I needed in my life. I just didn't know it.
I thought I'd be famous. I won't say by now, because in my world, you're really either famous before you're 25, or you won't be at all. A mentor said to me that he thought I'd have made it by now, that he was surprised I don't have a more prestigious job. That stung very badly, and dredged up lots of buried insecurities and doubts. I've thought long and hard about what I really want out of life. Sometimes I worry that I let everyone, including myself, down. But then my former students come to visit. They write letters, bring their potential mate by to meet me, call when they don't know where to turn. And I realized that I could be scratching my own itch to play in big halls and rub shoulders with famous people who might remember me for a moment. Or I can invest in students who are vulnerable, struggling, and in need of love.
I always knew that I would be in the helping profession and loved kids, and so luck would have it, I have a whole bunch of kids and I'm a social worker. I didn't expect the trials of being a single mom and the stressors of that, or the despair feelings from being in a domestic violence relationship. I did not expect and plan for some of those very dark moments of my life. Didn't really think that it would be like that, and so there was definitely no preparation for that. However, those are the things that kind of shape who I am, and those are the things that helped me to be able to now help other people and be where I am and be successful and not get so hung up on some of the little things that happen. I've not gotten it all figured out, still not perfect, but so much happier than that 21, 22-year-old me.
Since I've been in high school, I loved this poem by Theodor Roethke called The Waking. And in it, he talks about that we learn by going where it is we have to go. And that has been true for me. For many years, I've tried to focus on a one day at a time view, and where I would only do the footwork for tomorrow and doing the next right thing in front of me. I've had to learn, too, that doesn't mean that you just stay in crisis mode all the time. So where I am now is very much a surprise because I didn't spend that much time thinking about it. But also there were times in adulthood that I felt like my life as I knew it was over. And because of things that had happened, poor decisions, mine and other people's, that affected me. And the truth is that it was true. My life was over at that point as I had known it. But, what came next was really great and continues to be. And so I think, plans typically are illusions, and life happens, and God has plans for us. And, I really believe that God is with me, as all this unfolds, and that the present is where I need to focus. And that's what my business is.
I certainly never imagined that I would find myself in a same-sex marriage, and that has brought its own struggles and its own joys. I certainly never envisioned myself as the mother of a special needs child, and that, too, has brought daily struggles and daily joys. Most of all, I don't think that it ever occurred to me that I would have the relationship with God and the relationship with my family of faith that I have now. I have lots more questions than I had when I was a teenager because I don't see the answers as black and white anymore. And this particular family of faith has encouraged me to challenge my faith and to question my God in the midst of the same-sex marriage and the special needs child. And I've come to conclusions that I never thought I would reach, and I still lack direction on certain things. And the miracle in all of that is that I am content in not knowing. And I am grateful for that.
We moved back to Greensboro having had careers that pretty much pushed aside a spiritual life. Being here a while, I felt God's gentle, loving push towards an active worship experience. The seemingly natural return to the church I was raised in did not have the right feel. After trying out several other churches, College Park won the audition. This is the physical place I didn't expect to be. More importantly, I'm in a spiritual place of peace.